welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you how to make and use a grid spacing guide in your bullet journal. This can be a confusing topic, so I'll do my best to really break it down for you, and you can leave any additional questions in the comments below. So you may be asking, what is a grid spacing guide? A grid spacing guide is an extremely helpful tool to use when you're working with spacing your bullet journal spreads evenly. As we know, bullet journals have these dots on them to help you out, but it still involves some math to get it right, so grid spacing really speeds up the process since it's something you can quickly reference. I recommend putting this at the beginning of your journal because it's a page you'll probably be referencing a lot, and before you do anything, make sure you are working on the left page. I did not do this at first, and it became annoying because I had to flip the entire page to see the right side. So for instance, if I was working on a different page, I'd have to flip it entirely to see this side, and now I can just kind of do a quick flip. Next, count how many spaces there are vertically and horizontally. So basically, put a number in between each dotted square. The most important division that we all need at some point is the center vertically and horizontally. You'll have to divide that total number vertically in half and the total number horizontally in half. My vertical total number is 38 and my horizontal total number is 26. So half of 26 is 13 and half of 38 is 19. I decided to highlight 13 and 19 because I use these numbers on literally every single page I make. I drew a line vertically after the 13 and horizontally after the 19 so that we can see exactly where the center of the page is. I think something that confuses a lot of people about grid spacing is, for instance, on mine, why the lines are placed in like these specific spaces. You can really start anywhere horizontally or vertically. I could have put my yellow line here if I wanted to. I personally like to leave room for the grid spacing title, which is why you see no lines in this quarter with the title. What makes it easiest for me is starting on these center lines and just building off of that. Horizontally, you can see I just worked my way up with all of these different colors, and then vertically, I started with our center line and worked my way to the right. Now I'll show you one that's just a notch more difficult than the division we did of just the two lines. Instead of doing just the two lines to make quarters, we'll make it into 4 equal rectangles, and I used yellow to represent that layout. I wanted one space empty on each side of the rectangle, leaving 4 empty spaces. I subtracted my total number horizontally by 4 because of that, and then divided by 2 for my 2 rectangles, making it 22. 22 divided by 2 is 11, so I know I need to move 11 spaces horizontally. Okay, try and bear with me here. Remember that essentially each little dotted square represents 1 space. That being said, starting horizontally, and again looking at the yellow, you'll see I put my circle after space number 1. So I'm skipping space 1 and putting it in space 2. And based on the answer from that math equation we just did, I know I need to count 11 spaces from that space, which will bring me to space number 13. It's 13 because we started at space 2, and 13 minus 2 equals 11, which is the answer we got in our first math equation and how many spaces we need to go. And then I skip 2 spaces to make the next rectangle mark, so I can have 1 space for each side of the rectangles. As for vertically, we want to do the same equation we did for horizontally. It's going to be vertical total number minus 4 divided by 2. So mine's going to be 38 minus 4, which equals 34, and 34 divided by 2 is 17. Again, I want a space on each side of each rectangle, so I'm skipping space 1 and putting my circle in space 2. From space 2, I'm going to count 17 spaces, which leads me to space 19. That makes sense because 19 minus 2 equals 17. The rest of the colors are obviously other divisions I personally like to use. You may notice that not all colors have both a horizontal and vertical line. That's because for me, the horizontal or vertical line is always different depending on what I've got going on artistically on the spread. Like this green one with 3 rectangles doesn't have a vertical marker to match because I sometimes want it in different places, or maybe want the rectangle to be shorter. Here's an example of me using that layout. You can see that the horizontal marker was helpful, but I could have made the vertical really any length. I could have chosen not to include the bare faces or not include the scene at the bottom, but one thing that does stay the same is the even number of how wide my rectangles would be. But anyway, that's about it. Leave a comment if you have any questions about grid spacing, or maybe if you'd like me to break down these other divisions with examples or something. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!